Welcome to the 3 Knockdown Rule. Starring Mario Lopez and Steve Kim. Presented by Hustler Casino and UFC Fight Pass.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 3 Knockdown Rule on UFC Fight Pass is in effect. I'm Steve Kim, and we're joined by our Patrick Mahomes. God, all he does is win. Mario Lopez.
You know what? I appreciate the complex. Look, I've been drinking too much. Tequila already. I appreciate the compliment, but it bothers me at the same time. Salud.
Salud. All right, I want to thank everyone that helps us on the show. Smokin' Tim Frazier and Tino on the edits, the bout sheet for this week's show. A snoozer in Las Vegas. Garcia Haney finalized. Fight preview, fight review, and Ask Mario. But before we get started, we just want to let you know this podcast is sponsored by Hustler Casino, located just 15 minutes from downtown LA. If you love poker, now is the time to play in their high-limit crystal room for a $50,000 total giveaway this holiday season. Come check them out.
Round 1.
All right. So let's get this started. Last Thursday night from the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas on ESPN. It wasn't much of a fight, but I think it was a great track meet. And still, the WBO junior welterweight champion of the world, Teofimo Lopez, retains the belt with a 12-round unanimous decision over Jermaine Ortiz. Your scores 115-113 twice and 117-111. Mario, your thoughts on what transpired?
All right, I'm going to answer this on 3 different tiers.
Uh-oh.
First, I'm not going to read the text I was sending you this time. I'm not going to read the text. Ironically, they were very similar to the ones I sent you during the Shakur Stevenson fight, which I believe was also during the week, correct?
Thursday.
See, Kim, that's what bothers me more than anything is that the last 2 times we've been able to highlight this sport on a grand scale and on a big platform like ESPN, and this one even bigger because it's on the eve of the Super Bowl. It is such a letdown, and it does such a disservice to the people that literally put the blood, sweat, and tears in there with the fighters and everyone involved in the company and the promotion, what have you. Because when you get a fight like that, and I say fight in quotes, air quotes there, that's why people are turning to UFC. That fight has you losing fans. And I've got many things to blame for that. Okay, number 1, yes, Teofimo is athletically gifted, so quick, so strong, fleet of foot. However, my guy either has never learned to cut off a ring or has not improved in trying to cut off the ring, because that seems to be his kryptonite, is someone that is fleet of foot. Okay? And I do feel it is time now more than ever to get a real trainer/mentor in there to be able to maintain this level, much less take him to the next level, just be able to maintain staying at this level and to be able to see the guys, the rest of the champions in his division. I hope he sees that. As far as the controversy, I don't see the argument. I really, really don't. And I really put a lot of this blame on Ortiz, which made me angry because he talked a big game, and my guy went in there and thought he was doing the Indy 500. Kim, I said he's got to get tired at some point. I've never seen someone backpedal so much. He was fleet-footed, but his punches, if you want to call them that, didn't phase or hurt Teo at all. Teo was the aggressor. He landed the harder punches. It wasn't a robbery at all to me. In this whole, he outlanded Teo 2-1. It didn't even look like It didn't even look like he was phased by it at all. Teo landed more power shots, the more effective punches. He was the more aggressor. And thankfully, the judges saw it that way, because I'm always going to lean towards someone who's actually initiating the fight. I know both had a low output, but Lopez was at least trying to engage. Jermaine Ortiz, second half of the fight, he was like in survival mode. For pretty much the whole time, he was in survival mode. That being said, again, Lopez needs to start utilizing his jab more and cut off the ring. But as far as Ortiz, you have to make a case for winning. And you cannot win a fight, much less a world championship, by running. And that's what it was. I'm sorry. It was not boxing. My guy was running out there. You needed to throw and you needed to land punches. You can't do more moving than boxing and expect to win and get your hand raised. That is a bad style of fighting, and that is bad for the sport. And again, I see no controversy because Tio was at least willing to engage. He was the aggressor all night, and the blows that were landed, the more effective, harder ones were landed by him. You had a southpaw who was fleet of foot and did not want to engage. It's hard to look good, period, much less against a guy you have to chase. De La Hoya, who happened to be at the fight, I know you were there too, agreed with me, and he had the same aggression. He goes, bro, he did all he could do. Yeah, he could have, and he pointed out the things that I'd already pointed out, but you can't give it to Ortiz based off of that. These people are crazy, and obviously that's not his fighter, but that's how he felt, and that's how I feel.
Mario, from ringside, and I know guys like Tim Bradley have their feelings. We love Tim.
Oh, gosh, we didn't even talk about that, and I do love me some Tim, but come on.
Yeah, we're going to have to bring him back on, call him to the front of the congregation. But from my press row seat near the corrals at a really good vantage point, I had it 116, 112, Teofimo Lopez. At the end of the day, as I wrote for K9's Corner on snack.com, one guy wouldn't, the other guy couldn't, and it was a type of fight, as the old-timers say. You let them in for free, you charge them to leave. It was an awful fight, but the bottom line is very simple. Jermaine Ortiz, he stepped all over the line between effective movement and boxing to flat out retreating and being negative. And you cannot reward that. No. This is professional prize fighting. Exactly. As Larry Merchant told me, he left a message. He said, Steve, that was an abortion of a fight. And yet, no, that was not a pro-life or pro-choice statement. He's just trying to describe the fight. But he said, there's a reason why I don't call it boxing. He calls it professional prize fighting. Exactly. And under the guise of professional prize fighting and what it should be, I don't think you can or should reward Jermaine Ortiz. I was like, am I living in an alternate universe? These people that are actually trying to make a case for him to be the victor said, we can't reward that. We can't celebrate that. That's taking steps backwards for our sport, and you're driving people away. And like I said, it made it even 10 times worse being the platform that it was, and on the night that it was, and on two times now on a Thursday. There's a Thursday night curse.
There's a Thursday night curse. We've had track meets.
I may never go again. And here's the other thing.
No, I'm getting mad. I get mad at you too.
Before people start bringing up Pernell Whitaker, what Pernell Whitaker did was stand right in front of you. Exactly. He didn't move nearly as much.
James Toney.
And he would piece you up. Okay, there was actual damage being done. Now, after the fight, Teofimo Lopez, the Plato of prize fighter, waxed philosophically to Bernardo Osuna. This is what he had to say.
Hold up, man. Hey, people, humans, listen up, man. Listen up. Yeah, y'all can boo all you want. Suck a dick, no homo. No. Listen, I know, relax. Let me go back on this, okay? We cannot, for 1 second.
Yeah, people that lose sport.
Let me speak. We cannot, for 1 second, claim these people, these fighters that don't want to come and fight. You go to blood, sweat, and tears. The 3 Code of Conduct Sugar Ray Robinson Award. If you ain't ready for this life, get the out of my sport. I am a champion. I bleed for this. I sweat for this, and I cry for this every time. Jesus is real. And all I can say, may God giveth, God taketh. Blessed be the name of the Lord.
Message!
Wow. My guy went, first of all, I didn't know you could suck a dick, no homo. I thought that's the whole point.
Oxymoronic there.
Yeah. And then he was yelling at the people. Somehow he was like, humans. Were there dogs there? I was not aware of. The whole thing. And then he started, at one point I remember he brought up Rosa Parks.
Hey, there's only one race, the human race. Right. But I think Rosa Parks actually said, I'm not getting up. I'm not going to the back. I think that's what's hurt. I think got the quotes all mixed up.
And then he started cussing out people, but then praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Then praise the Lord. My guy was on a sick one. He was on a sick one right there. And shout out to Bernardo Osuna for holding it together.
What a pro. I mean, the thing is, I told this to Bernardo.
That reminded me of when I was interviewing Miss Teen, South Carolina.
I told Bernardo on Sunday, we're texting on Super Bowl Sunday. I said, Bernardo, let me just tell you something. Cosell had Ali. You have Teofimo Lopez.
Dude.
What a pro.
And I like Teofimo. I was very frustrated. Like I said, I wasn't angry because he did come to fight and he did want to engage. But I was frustrated because he is so athletically gifted.
But there's flaws. There are holes in the game, Mario.
That's what I'm trying to say. He's one of those guys that is so athletically gifted, he's been able to get away with his timing, and only certain style of fights are really going to make him look like a consummate fighter in shining. Ironically, the boogeyman of the division, Subriel Matias, I think he's all right for him.
Right.
I think he goes forward.
Fastballs down the middle of the plate.
He's going to be uppercutting all night, counter all night. I think he looks excellent in that fight. However, movement, like I mentioned earlier, seems to be the Achilles heel. He's got to address that because if he's going to fight a guy like Haney, that could be a real problem. Or Shakur, that could be very problematic.
The word comes to mind is kryptonite.
Yeah,
I have a question. I have a question. If you have problems with a particular style, and if you look at Teofimo's last 4 or 5 fights, it alternates between unbelievable effort, mediocre, great effort, mediocre again. I've always said this about the elite fighters. You know what they do? They consistently take care of the pretty good ones. In other words, the 10s always take care of the 7s and 8s handily. Based on this track record.
The 7s and 8s, though, seem to have the same style.
Okay.
Seem to say I have the same style, which I think prove problematic. The only way I slightly disagree is, to me, if the guys that go down to their competition is I feel like if the effort's not there. I feel his effort is there. I just don't feel the skill set is matched to be able to acclimate.
To be fair to Teofimo, I don't think anyone could have looked good against that style.
That's exactly, yes. And
the other issue is, again, I'm going to bring this up, and I know I belabor the point, and I'm never going to stop, so just stop whining. When he fought Josh Taylor last June, and you were there, he looked spectacular.
Coming off of 3 fights.
3 fights in 10 months.
Yep.
This here was an 8-month layoff.
No good.
To paraphrase Teofimo Lopez, in the pyramids 2,600 years ago, you know what it said? Activity matters. That's all I'm going to say.
Suck a dick, no homo.
Praise Jesus.
I was quoting.
Praise Jesus. The Sun Tzu of boxing, Teofimo Lopez.
Dude.
Mario, also on this card.
That was more entertaining than the fight.
Well, the entrance was good. The post-fight interview, everything in between.
Everything but the fight.
Rotten meat in that sandwich. Mario, on this undercard, talented lightweight Keyshawn Davis looked good. TKO on 6 over 2-time world champion Jose Pedraza, knocking him out in 6 to move to 10-0. And him and Lopez were going back and forth. Look, I don't want to be Mr. Buzzkill here, but here's the reality about Pedraza. Not only is he on the tail end, this was his first fight at lightweight since 2019. So even right around the 3rd, 4th round, you could see the legs getting very, very rubbery. But again, you did what you're supposed to. You pushed a veteran off the cliff. And if Keyshawn can just stay focused, forget all the nonsense, stay off the weed, he's going to be a formidable guy at 35. There's a lot of talent there. And Mario, I'm just telling you right now, remember this name, Abdullah the Young Butcher Mason, with a highlight reel knockout over Benjamin Gurment. 12-0, 10 knockouts, just 19 years old.
My kid is still a teenager. That was very impressive blue chip prospect right there. Be careful how we move him because I think he's got a bright future.
Yeah, and I've gotten to know the father a little bit. Very stable situation there.
Good to hear.
And the one thing about Abdullah that I like, very respectful young man. He's got a good head on his shoulders.
Where's he from?
He's from Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay, Cleveland.
So I think he can be built into something.
Yeah.
I remember when Top Rank signed him about 3 years ago when the press release went out. Someone from the company said, Steve, this is one of the good ones. And I said, really? In fact, he was only 16. They had to wait for him to turn pro, but he's managed by James Prince. And they said, no. Forget the Olympics. Let's make some money now. This kid, I think, is one of the very best fighters in the world under the age of 20. And when I forecast him, and I've already seen him grow physically, he's getting into his man strength. I believe he can be a 3-4 division weight champion. But again, a sound of warning. We don't know how he catches.
We don't know how he catches. And what weight's he at right now?
Right now, he is a lightweight.
Right.
And then within 3-4 years, he's going to be a welterweight and beyond.
Yes.
Just look at his torso.
Yes.
And just like his frame, a lot of speed, a lot of technique, a lot of power. And he's got a good head on his shoulder. So keep that name in mind, Abdullah Mason. All right, we'll be back with more of the 3 Knockdown Rule on the UFC Fight Pass.
Catch it streaming live right on YouTube.
Welcome to the big leagues, kid.
$1.2 million.
And I'm losing in this fucking game. What the fuck?
There's a 400K flip. If I win by way, you get 10 grand.
Fucking straddle!
For my fans!
What? I read it twice!
Wow. All in a call.
I'm not fucking leaving!
Raise it up.
And we're back on the 3 Knockdown Rule on the UFC Fight Pass. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to get involved with the 3 Knockdown Rule and sponsor our fine program, we still have some slots available. Please reach out to us by emailing info@boxbid.io. Once again, that's info@boxbid.io. Boxbid.io is an online platform that is launching soon. It helps public figures and professionals in the world of boxing get sponsorships. We are proudly working with Boxbid.io.
Review preview.
Okay, moving ahead. This past Saturday, Mario, what a day for a good friend of ours, Mr. Tengu's Boxing, Ricky Fuentes, for the last couple of years, has been training a certain prospect, and he says, hey, this is a blue chipper, and we're like, okay. Well, Hamza Shiraz, I think, has burst onto the scene, now has to be considered a middleweight contender. He absolutely blew out an experienced, rugged guy in Liam Williams in one to move to 19-0, 15 knockouts. This was a statement victory.
I'm so happy for my boy Ricky Funes, my eating partner. He does all those food review videos with me. He knows some good spots to get down on some good food right there. You have to join us one day, Ken.
Remember we went to the Speakeasy.
That's right. And then we went to the Speakeasy. That's right. That was good.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Oh, what's the code word?
He's got some more for us. No, he's a great guy. And Hamza I really like. I've got to see him a few times and actually train with him, and he's moved around with me. He's such a nice guy. How he makes that weight, I don't know. He's huge. My guy's super tall, lanky. He's going to be a problem for a lot of guys in this division. He continues to get better. He looks like he's really confident now. A lot of his fights, or the last few, I should say, have been overseas, so I'm hoping he starts to create a little buzz and is able to fight here. But that was a very buzzy performance. A lot of people are talking about him. I think he's ready to take the next step, and I'm happy for him and Funes.
This is how big he is for that weight. I'm about 6'2", which makes me incredibly tall for an Asian. People have called me Yao Ming. He's actually
Take it easy, Yao.
2-3 inches taller than me. I don't know how he fills into that 160.
How he makes it's a mystery.
Right.
I have no idea.
And keep this in mind. I want to put this in perspective about Liam Williams. The only guys that have really beaten him have been Chris Eubank, who went the distance, I believe. Demetrius Andre, they went the distance. And he went 2 times with Liam Smith. Okay?
That's impressive.
Nobody has blown him out that way. And look, I'm not making an exact comparison, but he reminds me of a long, tall stick of dynamite, like one of those wiry guys like a Tommy Hearns. They're very skinny, very tall, but they have that snap and that torque. And they have that ability just to snap off left hooks, quick right hands. And my understanding is after Ramadan, he'll be back in L.A. with Ricky Fuentes. Hope to bring him in studio. And when the Queensberry Promotions and Eddie Hearns fighters have that duel in Saudi Arabia on June 1st underneath Beterbiev and Bivol, he might be fighting another undefeated young prospect in Ammo Williams. So it seems to me like he is now on the fast track, but just judging by the Twitter reaction on Saturday afternoon, he's now on the radar.
I love it. I love it. Deserves to be, and I think he's a tough out.
Okay, and moving forward this Friday night, not Saturday, because thanks Tyson Fury, but anyway, from the theater at Madison Square Garden, your main event on ESPN for the WBC Junior Lightweight Championship of the World. Oh, the shock factor is back. Oshaki Foster takes on Abraham Supernova. Mario, the last time we saw Foster, he went through an absolute war with Rocky Hernandez. I thought that was one of the best fights of 2023.
That was a really good fight. He's had a nice little layoff, so hopefully he'll come back fresh and very prepared for this fight because he could really parlay this into big things.
This is his first fight under the top-ranked banner, and I got a note on that. But as I take a look at 130, Emmanuel Navarrete looks like he's moving up to 35. He's going to fight Dennis Baranchek.
I think that's going to bode well for him.
Yeah, because I look at the other champions like Joe Cordina, who has the IBF title, and the Lamont Roach, who has a WBA belt. I don't see Marco Antonio Barrera. I see a wide open division. This is what I love about Foster and his representatives. They told Top Rank, look. If we're going to sign with you, here's the thing. We want more than just 1 or 2 fights. We want 3 fights, and we're going to make it easy. My understanding is they said, you know what? We don't even care for the main event. Long as you make us have 3 fights and we're televised, we'll take a co-main. And they're like, deal. More fighters in his position have to be willing to be flexible. You know, it's not just about the money. The activity matters.
Of course, that's been the theme, I think, since last year. Not only does the activity matter to develop yourself as a fighter and continue to progress, it matters just as a brand.
Yes.
To get out there. Just when we were growing up, if you think of the fighters, I'm going to say yesteryear, but it wasn't even that long ago. The De La Hoyas, the Trinidads, the Cottos.
James Toney.
Yeah, they'd be fighting often and frequently, and dare I say, it was just a higher, better quality of fighting that we're seeing now, and I think the activity is a big reason for that. Do you agree?
Yeah, the Dodgers could not be as popular as they are in L.A., playing once a week or even once a month. They'd have to look. They play a real schedule, as does any other sport. And when you are in a niche sport, which boxing is in America, if you think you're really going to be out there every 8-9 months and make a mark, you're not. Until you are that De La Hoya after he beat Chavez. There comes a time and a place where you become a twice-a-year fighter. Unfortunately, what I am seeing is, and these fighters become victims, if you do not have at least 25 to 30 fights, and you're about 25, 26 years old, if you're relegated to twice a year, I actually believe you are putting a ceiling on your future earnings.
Correct. And your development as a fighter.
Right. So good luck to Oshaki Foster.
Yes.
He's a really good guy. Great reclamation story personally. And Mario, on the co-main, one of my favorite young men, Bruce Shushu Carrington, 27 years old, out of Brownsville, taking on Bernardo Angelo Torres. Bruce Carrington's just 10-0, but I think technically and fundamentally, he's slick. He's a slick, fundamentally sound, grounded fighter. And I talked to him last week in Las Vegas, and his last fight against the veteran and Jason Sanchez, everyone thought it was going to be a tough fight. Jason Sanchez has gone to distance with guys like Oscar Valdez. He looks spectacular in getting him out of there in 2. Bruce Carrington, when I speak to him, unlike a lot of this new generation of fighters, I really get the sense I'm talking to a full-grown man. He's got this wisdom about
Maturity
him.
about him?
Yeah, I mean, there's something about him that I really like. And this is what I love what he told me. He said, Steve, this year I want 4 to 5 fights. In fact, I want 5. I'm not ready for a title. Let me build to it. And in 2-3 years, I want Inoue at featherweight. And you know what? That's a kid who I believe has the skills, he has the character, he has the talent, and I root for him because I think he's a really good young man. So Shushu Carrington is on the co-main. Good luck to him.
Well, he definitely has the right attitude, so yes, good luck.
News and notes.
News and notes. Mario, a lot of things going on here.
Yes.
March 29th in Glendale, Arizona on ESPN, presented by Top Rank. I'm going to actually go out to this fun card. Oscar Valdez, coming off that really tough loss to Navarrete, takes on Liam Wilson, who last year was the victim, I believe, of a long count against Navarrete. Mario, I think Valdez's career is kind of on the line here.
That's a really good fight. A tough fight for him, so it's not like they're giving him a softball. I like Valdez. I like the way he carries himself. I like the way he fights. He always comes prepared and puts in a solid effort. Whether he remains on this elite level, we'll find out on that date.
My understanding is this is an eliminator. So the winner of this fight is right in line for a title shot. So it's kind of do or die for Oscar Valdez. And also on this card, one of the friends of this program, Miss Sanicia Estrada, for the undisputed strawweight title. There was glasnost between her and Oscar De La Hoya. They hugged it out at the press conference.
Oh, good.
They made the fight with Yokasta Valle for all the belts.
That's gonna be
happening.
That's gonna be a good fight.
Yes, so we'll bring Miss Estrada in a couple of weeks, and then you could badger her about her personal life and make her feel very uncomfortable.
She gave me. I'll let her say it, but she gave me the down low on everything that's going on. Yeah,
you invited her to the wedding.
She seems happy. She seems happy. Good for her.
And also on the card is Emilio Vargas, one of the most marketable, talented young fighters.
I'm glad they're keeping him busy.
Yeah, and, he was actually supposed to be on the card last week, but he got a little bit ill. When I'm watching him at the press conference and how polished he is, and I'm thinking, you got to get out of this boxing thing and run for office. I mean, he just has this mature air about him. It's really, uncanny how
I like this
polished he
kid.
is.
He's what weight is he at right now?
He's going to be at 35. It'll eventually be at 40 and 47.
Yeah,
because he's
exactly.
young.
Yeah.
And also on this card, one of Robert Garcia's young guns, Raymond Murataya, one of the cleanest, pure technicians and punchers at 35.
It's a good card.
Yes, this guy is so dangerous. And I talked to Robert a little bit last week. He said, Steve, I'm going to be honest with you. Until we are mandatory, no lightweight's going to say we want to fight Murataya. And I know the top-ranked matchmakers who are very tough to please. They actually like him. So that's the rare seal of approval from the Trampler Goodman sect of that company. And Mario, I said last week that if Ryan Garcia ended up finalizing the deal with Devin Haney, that I would tip my cap. Mario, cap, lid.
Tip.
Yeah.
Have more
Yeah.
tequila.
Have
Have more tequila.
But
I'm going to trade you. I'm going
thank
to
you.
trade you.
Thank you.
I still got to work right there.
Yeah.
Salute. Yeah, you know
Salute.
what? This one's for Garcia.
Yeah.
This one's for Garcia.
He got it
I'm gonna
done.
say-
He got it done.
Say what you want about the kid. I give him props because he really does want all the smoke. Called out Tank, campaigned for that fight, eventually got it done. Called out Haney. It looked like it was going to get done. There was a couple of detours.
Then went on a jog with Mayweather.
Yes, and then
Got sidetracked.
Right, got a little sidetracked. Got back on track. Shout out to Golden Boy, too, for getting him back on track. And now they got this fight done. So look at this, Kim. He's going from Tank. I know he had a fight in between. And then and to Haney. I think it's a very bad look for Shakur and for Tank. That he's going like this guy, coming off of his loss even, is asking for, well, no, he had to win this last one, but off of the big highlighted fight, he's asking for Haney, who's obviously is peaking in all his powers right now, but he's like, I want it. I want that smoke and I want the big fights. You have to tip your hat to him. You have to say, all young fighters should have this certain attitude. So say what you will in the shenanigans and what have you, but you know what? My guy comes to fight, and for that, he cannot be knocked, and I think it's a really bad look for the other champions in the division. Agree?
Yeah, and this fight is April 20th.
Right.
Venue TBA.
Dude, that's around the corner. Well, it's going to
It'll be right on top of us. And with that said, after I've given my proper due respect to Ryan Garcia, my prediction, I think Haney wins 10-2. I just don't think that Ryan is complete enough. And Devin Haney at 140, without having to kill himself to make weight, he looked like a different guy against Prograis. He really did.
I would have liked to have seen him, if I was his manager, fight Raleigh or Barroso prior to a Haney, and maybe even one more fight before Haney. Yes, but be that as it may, I'm glad the fight is actually happening, and I think you have to lean towards Haney with all the momentum. They have a history. They fought, I believe, 6 times.
3-3.
And they ended up as a draw with 3-3 apiece. So Ryan maybe sees something. Maybe he feels very confident, and clearly because he's been clamoring for this fight. So I'm curious to that little acting episode they put.
Acting? You said acting, huh?
Bro,
Okay,
that couldn't have
wow.
been real. That couldn't have been
I
real.
know.
Do you think that was real?
No.
I think they go back. I think they're homies. They're like, let's give some people to talk about. Because I was like, they kept repeating the same thing. And I was like, wait, what's going on right now?
Mario, we can discuss this more, but I have a general question.
But real quick, I'm sorry, before we move on, don't you think it either puts a little pressure, turns up the heat, or it should at least, to the other champions in the division?
It does. And by the way, Shakur Stevenson has announced, and this is stunning, he's not retired. He's back. Welcome back, Shakur. Okay, I'm with you.
Tank too.
But, well, okay, when is Tank fighting, by the way?
Well, that's what I'm saying. And when he does fight, It's got to be someone on the side.
Think about this. Tank and Ryan fought last April 27th.
Right.
We are now in mid-February, which means if you have nothing scheduled, you're not fighting till May. Say what you want about Ryan Garcia, and I have been a critic. He fought in December, and he's going to fight again by April. So that's 2 fights.
Right.
What is going on with Tank? I mean, I'm hearing reports that Conor Ben and Eddie Hearn have offered $10 to $15 million to fight in the UK.
And I heard he passed.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. And then I think if he does that, I think that's questionable bad luck too, because all of a sudden you can go to welterweight.
Right.
So what about all these excuses and the weight drain and not you? I think it hurts his brand. Is my point.
They may not care.
And I like Tank,
they may not care though, because they're making a lot of money. They have made a lot of money. I have a question though about Ryan Garcia. Let's say Haney really dominates the fight, doesn't knock him out, but it's 10-2. It's never really competitive. And it's one-sided, the way most of the boxing insiders that I've talked to believe it will be. Let's say that comes to fruition. Is that the end of Ryan Garcia? Not in the sense that he has to retire, but we kind of know now the jig is up.
Not necessarily, depending on, let's assume he loses, how he loses. If he just gets outboxed, if it's a boring fight where it's a game of tag and Haney wins convincingly, but he does outbox him and he doesn't go out there and knock him out in a brutal fashion, I still think he's in the game. I really do, because he ended up wanting to take the fight. If he goes out there and gets caught with a shot early and gets knocked out in bad fashion, then that's different. But if he's able just to lose by getting outboxed, I think he's still in the game. I don't think he can call the shots so much and answer these big fights. I think he's got to build up some more momentum, and then I think he's maybe got to put up at least 2-3 fights together where he looks impressive, where he's back in talks to be maybe with the Shakurs, Tanks, and Haneys.
If you lose 11-1, 10-2, I think it's a bad look. But if you lose 7-5 or split decision,
sure,
it doesn't hurt you as much.
No, right, exactly. Well, that's, basically saying the same thing.
Moving on to news and notes here of more. John Ryder, congratulations on a great career. He has retired at the age of 35. There's a guy that got everything out of his ability, was an honest fighter, got to travel the world, made a lot of money. Probably should have been the super middleweight champ, because I thought he beat Callum Smith about 3-4 years ago. But this is a lesson for every young fighter. Just keep at it, stick with it, be a pro, and if you stick your nose to the grindstone the way Ryder did, you get to fight for world titles. You get to face Canelo. Then you get to face Munguia. He's earned a lot of money, and he's earned a lot of respect. It was a good, honest career.
Good for him.
Salute to the gorilla.
Yep.
And Mario, this actually came out a couple hours before we went on air or taped this. IBF Junior Welterweight Champion Subriel Matias, the Puerto Rican meat grinder, has signed a deal with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. Good signing for them.
It is, but does that bode well for a potential showdown with, say, Teofimo or Haney?
Yeah, see, with Haney, remember, very, very good relationship with him and Eddie Hearn. They basically worked together the last few years, outside of the top-ranked 3-fight deal with Kambosos, or 2-fight deal.
I don't know if Haney wants that.
Right. As it relates to Top Rank and Teo, look, as I like to call it, it's platform protection. One company's at ESPN. They got to bring all their content there. Eddie Hearn is with The Zone. He's got to bring, and this is where the business really does not work for fighters. In my view, in a perfect world, networks would have a lot of money to spend, but they tell every promoter, make fights, bring us fights, and we'll approve them and we'll pay you. Instead, we have situations where fighters are forced to take lesser fights to secure a network date, because that's where your promoter has an exclusive agreement. And that's a shame. That is one of the first. But I'll say one thing about Subriel Matias. I would hope that Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, who are very bright, have a plan to 3 fights this year. 3 fights. 2 of the last 3 years, he's only fought once. And number one, and the other thing is, he's Puerto Rican. I have an idea. How about boxing him on the island? Wepa. Promoting sometimes is not all that complicated.
Puerto Rican Day Parade. I know Top Rank likes to get. That might be a good, nice little head-to-head matchup.
Right. So congratulations to Subriel Matias. Hey, young man, make a career. Moving on. All right, so let's get started. Here's one from E. Sam. Who does Bud Crawford actually fight next? Had a chance to speak to Bomac in Las Vegas, and he said, look, we want to fight in May against somebody. I don't think they're just stuck on Canelo. They actually want to get something in. But I have a question for you. I know you've
Did he tell you what weight he wants to get something in?
I don't think they're at welterweight anymore. I really think they're going to try to move up.
This is all in the campaign to face Canelo?
Right. But that's the question I'm going to ask you. If that opportunity came right now to face Canelo, and they said, but it has to be next, and let's say May. If you're Crawford, what do you say?
You say yes, because you can't. I think Crawford is experienced enough, confident enough. We heard it from his own mouth.
Ballsy enough.
And ballsy enough and skilled enough to want to take that fight and not embarrass himself. I still think weight matters.
Yes.
I do. I don't care how talented you are. The other guy's talented too.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's fighting a bum.
Right.
So when you're at an elite level, you're splitting hairs as it is, and you're giving up that much weight. I just think it's a factor. And I said that to Crawford.
Right.
And I love me some Terrence Crawford, but bro, that's 3 weight classes.
Right. And look,
that's a lot.
I feel a lot better about the fight if it was an ascension of weight, not just, hey, you're going all the way up to Mount Everest.
Correct.
That's like, ooh,
no,
God.
No, correct. So the fact that he is going up, because remember, he's not necessarily a big welter either.
No.
So the fact that he is going up, and I'm assuming just to 54, then I think on the heels of this Zoo fight with Keith Thurman, that would be a nice way for him to have another big money fight, event type fight, maybe even down under if you were to face, assuming Zoo's the winner, someone like a Zoo. If he were to win that title, then I think he makes a stronger case for eventually facing a Canelo.
I don't disagree. Here's a question from Evan Williams I find very interesting. Can anything be done in the future to stop boxers from refusing to engage and running laps around the ring for 12 rounds? Seems to be becoming a major issue after Shakur and Ortiz's latest performances. Is it time to start taking points? Mario, I remember that a great old referee, Arthur Mercanti Sr., if he saw a guy being so negative, he'd actually, time out. Buddy, are you going to fight or not?
Yeah.
Great story that Larry Merchant told me and Bruce Tramplers told me. And Larry Merchant was actually there one day. The great old matchmaker, the legendary Teddy Brenner. He would actually, and Larry said he was there one day. He was forced to bring on this slick boxer for Madison Square Garden. He didn't really like to do it. And he said, Steve, I'll never forget, nothing was happening for 5 rounds. Literally no punches. He said, I saw Teddy Brenner crouch down past press row, almost try to sneak past us. And we're like, where's Teddy going? Teddy actually went into the guy's corner, that guy that was really slick, and he nudged the corner man out of the way. He says, get out of the way. And he told the guy, hey, buddy, if you don't stand and fight and throw punches, you're not getting paid, and we're never bringing you back. And I said, well, Larry.
I love that.
And you know what Larry said? He goes, we never saw that guy again at the car.
So clearly he didn't start throwing punches.
Well, yeah, not enough.
Right.
I mean, they're
But look, I don't think there's anything you can do in the moment, per se, if you're not doing anything illegal. However, if you have a performance like that, then I think you should be penalized.
Free market.
You should be able to not to say, hey, you're not that is not TV friendly. You're not going to be on our waste people's time.
For all these people that are outraged by the decision, and I get it, a lot of people don't like Teofimo for various reasons, but here's the reality. If everyone fought like Jermaine Ortiz,
we wouldn't have a sport.
You wouldn't support boxing. There would not be a business. And I would ask these people, so when Jermaine Ortiz fights again, would you buy a ticket for that?
Right.
We all know the answer.
Of course. The hypocrisy is alarming.
But, you know, maybe Tim Bradley, we love Tim. I love dinner with him on Tuesday. Tim may have a point, though. Is it time to just make every ring now 15 by 15?
Ooh, you know I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
That's actually something that can realistically be done because you're not being subjective as far as is he running too much? Because then what does running too much? Right? But if you have a ring, you're getting in a fight. No matter what, you're throwing bombs.
You know, Larry Merchant had one of the great lines, that legendary thing. It's never. Really
I love that
proven.
idea. I love that idea.
There was that old legend, and again, it's never really been proven, and there's people that disagree with it if it ever happened. Remember when they said Willie Pep once won a round without throwing a punch? Larry Merchant goes, Steve? I go, yeah. He goes, I wouldn't have given him that round.
course not.
And I'm kind of like, you know what? I don't think I would have either.
No, unless the guy threw and kept falling.
Right.
And like slipping and embarrassing himself.
Right.
I mean, it'd have to be dramatic.
But there was a point before guaranteed contracts, and you were a fighter that was on a one-off with promoters, and you were not guaranteed to have a fight 4 months from now or under. Oh my God! I think there was much more pressure to actually put on a good show back in the olden days.
You had to actually fight.
Yes, actually fight and put on a show. Here's one from Omar. Omar, the co-star. Are boxers jumping up weight classes more than ever? Mario, I think they are, and I'll tell you why they're doing it. They believe that there is a great cachet and value in saying that I'm a 1-time, 2-time, 3-time, 4-division weight champion. Also, think about this. I think it's a great way of avoiding the best guy in a division and just moving up and picking the weakest belt. Seriously.
It makes a lot of sense. And look, I think most fighters will tell you there's nothing worse than cutting weight. So if you have the opportunity to maybe cherry pick and pick a fighter who's not as dangerous and just a couple, and you don't have to cut weight for it, I think that's a lot of incentive.
Mario, I've actually looked at the resume of guys like Adrian Broner, who were 4-division world champions, and people say, well, that make him a Hall of Famer. Here's the problem. If you actually examine it, here's the problem with Broner, who I enjoyed. He's one of those characters that makes the game fun. I have nothing against Broner. I make no judgments against him. You know, he was never the best guy in any division.
Really?
That's the thing, yeah, because I've kind of looked at it, and I've said, I'm sick of people trying to ripping guys like Golovkin and Hagler that they never moved up. And I'm like, well, maybe they just couldn't move up. Maybe they were actually dominating a division and cleaning it out.
That's that's incredibly impressive.
It is. To hold down a division for like 5, 6, 7 years.
Really impressive. And Chavez, all those years.
Right.
Yeah.
And my view is this. If you are going to be a Hall of Fame voter, which I was at one time, I'm not anymore because of some issues, but you have to really examine this. Just being a multi-divisional champion, I say, okay, that's an achievement. Now you have to really investigate, did you really fight everyone at your division? And here's the impressive thing about Lomachenko. He doesn't have a lot of fights, but I thought in 2, if not 3 divisions, even though he didn't have a lot of fights, he was clearly avoided and was number 1 in at least 2.
And I think the fights he did have, it was a case of quality over quantity, for sure.
And that absolutely matters. But yes, Omar, I believe fighters are now moving up for a couple of reasons. Number 1, there's a marketing aspect to it. And number 2, they're avoiding certain guys at the weight class.
I think there's rare cases, too, like a Crawford, where we're moving up because it is
but Crawford cleaned out divisions, though. He won every belt in 2 separate weight classes.
But also, I think, financially rewarding, too.
Yes. I mean, think about, look, I've always said this about Crawford. At 140, did he come in a relatively weak era? As I like to say, there wasn't Kostya, Frankie Randall, and Aaron Pryor.
Not his fault.
But he won every belt.
Yep.
Now, at 47, if there was not these quote, unquote, sides of the street, he would have been undisputed 3 years ago.
I agree.
So I don't want to hear, well, is Tim... Look, when Terrence Crawford, whenever he retires, in 3 years now, it's 3 years, whoever does not put a check mark next to his name, I think should have their vote taken away. He's one of those guys like a Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, when they start to gather for Football Hall of Fame, yes, he's in. Next guy. There is no discussion. It's a no-brainer. This is an interesting question from Carl Brandt. Why does Mario think Chavez Jr. turned out to be a bum? Did he grow up spoiled? Tim Tszyu grew up with money, but he's the real deal in the ring. Boy, that's kind of harsh calling him a bum. Jeez.
The frustrating and sad thing about Chavez Jr. is, look, I can't imagine growing up the son of a legend, of a real
royalty,
just beloved individual that the whole country gets behind, and the pressure, especially if you're going into the same field. Now, with that said, at one point, he looked like the real deal.
After Andy Lee, he looked legitimate.
He actually got a world championship, legit world championship.
Was getting better.
Was getting better. He was working with Freddie Roach. He looked really good. I mean, I didn't look like he was ever going to be his father, but then I don't think anyone is.
Well, that's a high bar.
No, I know, but to win a world championship, Kim, that is really, really impressive. And I believe it was the middleweight world championship, and he looked really good. And even when he fought Sergio Martinez, and we were at that fight, and he almost had a Taylor-esque type moment. After that, I don't know if it was a combination of he just didn't have his heart in it anymore. the pressure finally maybe kind of got to him, started making some money, and the temptations that come with that and the extracurricular activities become a real big distraction. And then you're just not the same guy. And then you're not just the same guy. And then all your vulnerabilities start coming out. When you start making money and people said, oh, he turned into a bigger jerk. No, he was always a jerk. It's just accentuated now. Or he remained a nice guy. He was always a nice guy. He's just a nice guy now with money. I think maybe he's always had these issues, but he started making a little money, started getting a little notoriety, and it was put into focus under the microscope.
I believe there was a lot of enabling when he didn't make weight. They'd always change the rules. I think so everyone had a part of it.
Because he was still an attraction.
Chavez. Yeah, because he was Chavez. I mean, just like being a Kennedy in politics.
Right.
The rules are a little bit different. I'll tell you a story because when he beat Andy Lee in El Paso, I remember thinking, because that was the fight or two before Martinez, I said, wow, he's actually becoming a fighter.
I can't believe that.
And Top Rank actually said, you know what, let's do the Martinez fight. They said, we've done it. We've done our job. Freddie's done his job. We can do it. So he was actually thought of as a somewhat live dog. I'll never forget, it was about 7-8 weeks before that fight.
Is that when he was training his underwear in the kitchen?
Well, it all ties into this story. So they had just begun camp, and Freddie had done a really nice job at Wild Card, and I'd seen a lot of those training sessions. I've never seen anyone take an hour and a half to put on their hand wraps like Chavez. There was no sense of urgency. It always frustrated me, like, bro, get to work. So it's about 7 weeks before September 14th of 2012. Because remember, that was the day when Canelo fought Josecito Lopez, and Chavez was at Thomas and Mack. Remember, it was a civil war.
Yeah.
And whatever happened to that Canelo guy, by the way? But anyway, so they had just begun camp. And I remember working at Wild Card on that Saturday, and I tell Freddie, hey, Freddie, what's going on with Chavez? Oh, yeah, we're going to spar today. And I said, hey, Freddie, can I watch? He goes, yeah, well, he's going to be there at 4:15. It was like 1 o'clock. Or no, it was about 3:30. And Freddie says, if you want to stick around, as long as you don't film sparring or say anything about it, I'll let you watch the workout. Don't worry about it. You can interview him later. So I was like, you know what, Freddie, let me take a quick shower. So it was actually about 2:30. So I go, all right, Freddie, I'll see you in about an hour and a half. So I'm thinking, okay, start to the training camp. It's going to be great. I'm going to get a story out of it. So I'm starting my car. Marie, the executive assistant who's now married to Freddie, she comes running down. She knocks on my door. And she goes, Steve, don't come back. And I go, why not? Freddie said I could say, nah. He goes, we just got a call. He's tired and he's not going to come in. I thought right there, it's over. Because if you are tired and already missing training sessions with flimsy excuses, and I told my buddy who's a gambler, I said, don't put any money on this kid. It's over. He said, what do you mean? He goes, look, I get it. You get tired, you get burnt out in camp. That should be happening in about 5-6 weeks.
Not the first week.
If he's already making excuse, and by the way, we never saw him at Wild Card the rest of that summer.
That's when he was in his kitchen.
That's when he was in his kitchen eating cereal with his underwear, and I said he has no shot. But he still almost pulled it out.
He still almost pulled out. So if he would have had a solid camp, man,
he could have won that fight.
He
could have won that fight because people don't realize how quickly Martinez fell apart.
Exactly.
Physically, his knees were all bad.
Exactly.
But it goes to show you, though, boxing is a poor man's sport. He didn't grow up poor. I don't like the fact that Julio Jr. is throwing his dad under the bus. Bro, you had a good life. Your dad's not perfect. None of us thought he was.
Of course.
And as I think some of my friends said, it's a Mexican father. That's normal. That's the truth.
Yeah, exactly.
Final flurries.
Exactly.
Moving on to final flurries. Mario, did you watch any of the Super Bowl? Did you watch it on your flight?
Hold on a second. So we're not going to talk about the Canelo situation?
What situation? I don't know.
The whispers, him out of PBC, and it's looking like, so let me ask.
That's whispers.
I think they're loud. I think they're loud because the buzz is, and the word is, that, which I think is great, as opposed to the Charlo, it's looking like him and Munguia might be trying to get something set up, which I really, really like. Someone who's obviously active, very much in that weight class. It's a Mexican showdown. I do not have a problem with that fight at all. I love that fight. Would you be opposed to that fight?
No.
May?
Oh, no. Me gusta. And by the way, I'm going to call you Mexican Adam Schefter. You got sauces. Because you actually put me on the phone with one of your sauces on Friday. I get it, but I think there's a lot of things being reported, brandied about. I mean, Canelo had this big press conference or media gathering on Tuesday.
Well, that's why I thought we should at least address it.
Right, it's TV Azteca, but we don't know. Look,
which makes a lot of sense. Two Mexican fighters, TV Azteca. That
right,
makes a lot of sense.
on Cinco de Mayo or Mexican Independence Day. And, with Munguia, he'll make it fun. Look, the only fight out of all the ones being discussed that I am opposed to is Charlo. That's dead fish. Now,
I agree.
Benavidez,
I told you
Crawford,
the only way.
Munguia, yes.
Yes, I agree. I told you the only way I would accept a Charlo is if it's followed by either a Benavidez or a Crawford. That's the only way I would accept that. Other than that, then it's. But I much prefer, if it were to come to fruition, a Munguia fight. Which, by the way, Freddie thinks he's a live dog.
No, so do I. Because one thing about Munguia, the underrated thing about him, he's not slow. He's actually got a little bit more speed.
And he's got a good set of whiskers.
And he's got a good set of whiskers. And you never know when a fighter turns old. You never know when a guy one day.
I like that fight. I'm telling you, I hope it comes to fruition. And if he were to fight him in May, in either Crawford or Benavidez, my guy's got nothing else to prove.
You know how many fans on Thursday were probably very critical, and they play online Angelo Dundee, and they pick out every single flaw of Jaime Munguia. He does this wrong, that wrong. And when they're watching Jermaine Ortiz, I guarantee you by the 7th round, they're saying, oh, my God, can we get some Jaime Munguia? That's what I mean. Jaime Munguia is that good, solid hamburger. You may not have it for Thanksgiving. It may not be the greatest meal, but let me just tell you something. When you eat that particular hamburger, you're pretty satisfied.
You ever seen a boring Munguia fight?
No, never. It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
It does not exist. But I'm just saying with Canelo, I believe that there are some financial issues, some things that have to be taken care of the back end. But all he announced this Tuesday is that I'm back with TV Azteca. And to that, all I say is, orale.
Which I think bodes well for the rumors that are out there facing Munguia. That's all I'm going to say.
All right,
just wanted to put it out there.
Again, Mexican Adam Schefter.
Stupid.
He's got them sauces. He's got them sauces. Mario, how much of the Super Bowl did you watch?
Dude, so I booked this corporate event I had to do for this hospital.
You got to make your money. Yeah.
Well, it was a long time ago. Yeah. And I didn't realize it fell on the same weekend as the Super Bowl. And I was like, I was already committed.
Ask me next time. I'll look at the Super Bowl.
Dude, because the Super Bowl used to be like in January. Remember? I just didn't think about it.
Now it's early February.
I know. Practically mid-February. Yeah. So it was in West Virginia, which there are no nonstop flights. You have to fly to
Pittsburgh.
Yes. And I didn't realize it was that close. It's only about an hour 10 outside of Pittsburgh. And a nice little campus. Yeah. West Virginia. Morgantown, exactly.
Shout out to Don Nealon and famous Amos Zeraway and Jeff Hostetler.
Wow, very good.
Major Harris.
Yes, they've got a solid wrestling team over there too. But it was nice. I went with the kids and the hospital and then had to do the event and all that. But I got back and that, God bless the pilot, because he got us there just in time where I was able to just maybe, and I was hearing it and was seeing it on the phone, see the game from like 7 minutes into the first quarter. So I saw the whole game, essentially. Saw the whole game and the halftime show. And it turned into an exciting game, but I thought it was actually relatively kind of, The first, I thought San Francisco blew it. They had all the momentum.
They were the better team.
They had the better team. They had all the momentum in the world, and they just had a case of bad luck and stupid mistakes.
But one team had Mahomes and Andy Reid.
Man, I'll tell you what.
They have the mistake.
You know what? Gosh, man. And then Bosa and Chase Young were playing their butts off. And that one kid, Jennings, and Christian McCaffrey, too. God, I mean, that first drive, I thought, this is going to be bad. And when it was 10-0, then the fumble, I was like, oh, my God. With all that said, Kim, and Brock Purdy, I know people were saying he played. My guy was only 3 for 12 on third down.
Exactly.
So he wasn't necessarily lightening up. It wasn't great. How are you not getting the ball to Kittle? So, anyway, overtime. When it was 4th and 3, forget these new rules. Why didn't you go for it on 4th and 3?
Yeah.
Because if you get it, then you get the touchdown. If you don't, you leave them on back there. They have to march the field, and the defense was playing great. That blew me away more than anything.
Yeah, Shanahan, I think, is an excellent diagnostic coach. His game decisions, that's the third Super Bowl he's been involved in where they have double-digit leads and they have not won.
I know.
And I don't know what to really say other than the fact I thought the Super Bowl for 50 minutes was kind of fugazi. Got good at the end.
It got good at the end.
Got it good at the end. So I don't know what else to really say. Mario, you're going to UFC 298 this weekend.
Dude, let me
good
tell you
card.
something.
Good card.
I'm more excited about this card than I am the big game this past weekend. This card should be the UFC 300 card. It's in Anaheim, which they've had some fights there before that I've actually attended. But I want to tell you all about who's on there, and the MMA fans will understand this. I mean, this is a hell of a card. We got Anthony Hernandez versus Roman Kopylov, great fight. Merab Dvalishvili, I think that's how you pronounce it, the Russian kid versus Henry Cejudo, Olympic champion 2 times. That is an incredible fight. I can't believe it's second. Then Jeff Neal and Ian Machado Gary with all that controversy. He married the wives, the husband, the hex, all that. Then Robert Whittaker from Australia and Paulo Costa from Brazil. That is an awesome fight. And then in the main event, Alexander Volkanovski, a guy versus Ilya.
Oh, the little fire hydrant.
I
love him.
Versus Ilya Topuria, who's badass from Spain. Dude, this fight is incredible. And I'll tell you what, you're not going to see any running on any of these fights. There's no Indy 500 right there.
No. If you see any running, you won't see them again.
You won't see them again. And guess what? Ironically, I think it is about 15 feet. Or smaller, actually, the octagon. So that is going to be money's worth. My old man's turning 75, so I'm taking him. So it should be a really good time.
And this is the truth.
I'll send you a code.
Yeah, and Mario, here's the thing. I know this, and look, I know a lot of fans. When most people go to a boxing match, they are in their seats about 20 minutes before television or the main event.
By the way, they get there. What I told you was the main card. The prelims are great. They're there from the prelims, Kim. Forget the main card. They're there from the prelims.
We have a mutual friend by the name of Mark Ratner, who's one of the executives at UFC.
I like seeing him there,
and he, for years, ran the Nevada Commission, was a football referee. Great guy.
UFC
to this day, me and Mark are still great. And he told me this about 14 years ago when he first took that gig. He was in Toronto for a show. And he emailed me here and there about college football, boxing. And he said, Steve, I tell you what, first thing I noticed. Every time I go to a boxing show, when I'd be working these cards as an administrator, no one would be in the audience for 3.5 hours until HBO or Showtime went on the air or the pay-per-view show. He goes, Steve, I go to Toronto for my first show. Before the first fight, there's a line of people waiting to get in, and 3/4 of that audience is there before even the lights go on. That's because of the quality of undercard, top to bottom.
Exactly.
That's the truth.
That's an absolute
You
truth.
could say that we're hatering. You could say that
that's
we're being...
the reality.
But
That's
you know
just
what?
being
We're trying to
honest.
tell the truth here, you bastards, okay? This is what we do.
No, that's exactly it. Now, making those fights be so competitive obviously is what draws that, but you're able to pull that off because it's all under one roof.
Under umbrella.
You don't have a bunch of different promoters. But be that as it may, they got to know that UFC's taking a chunk out of their audience there. These promoters have to start working together. They have to start kind of figuring it out with the networks, or else it's just going to suffer.
And the fighters have to understand, my performance matters. It matters.
It does.
Bottom line.
Well, they give fighter of the night bonuses.
Yes.
They give bonus. There's incentive, too, financial incentive.
Yeah. So, Mario, I don't know when this show is being released, but got big plans for Ash Wednesday. Do you?
Well, yeah, Ash Wednesday happens to fall on Valentine's Day.
How romantic.
I want to talk to my all the Catholic homies out there. If you want to save a few dollars, just say you gave up spending money on an extracurricular
It's
level.
for a good cause.
Take
For a
your
good
lady
cause. For the
to
Lord.
church,
For
get a
the
little,
Lord.
you know what I'm saying? Like
For the
Tio
Lord.
said, praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
And then you go there, and there you go. Boom, 2-1. You took her somewhere, but you don't have to spend any money. Bam.
So in other words,
And you're getting
humans,
right with the Lord.
Humans. This is what we're saying, man. All right, the 3 tenets of blood, sweat, I'd never heard that, by the way. I don't know where you went with that one.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Mario, I thought Wiener Schnitzel had a pretty good dog. A lot of sodium. The Dodger dog is a classic.
That's a classic dog.
But I heard there's now a Mario dog.
Bro, Pink's.
Pink's is a classic.
Pink's is an institution here in LA.
They're good.
Been here
Long
89
lines all the time.
89 years. It's
Wow.
been here. You got to have a quality dog.
Yeah.
The bread, the actual dog itself. So I was honored. They named the dog after me.
What?
And all the proceeds to my dog go to the Boys and Girls
It's
Club.
not
as you know.
chorizo. It's a hot dog.
No, it's a hot dog. Funny. It's a hot dog. And bro, this hot dog look like you're murdering toilets later, but it's so good going in. I mean, it's got some homemade guacamole,
Orale.
and it's got some sour cream, and it's got bacon, and it's got these big chunks. So,
Do they have the peppers?
Oh, jalapenos. We got jalapenos
Orale.
on. Dude, no,
Oh, yeah,
it's
you gotta have
amazing.
jalapeno.
No,
Oh,
it's amazing.
what?
When's the last time you had a hot dog?
Not a good one in a while, honestly. Because when they give us vouchers for the media meals, they give us vouchers now, right?
Yeah.
So you go up to this concession,
No, those
and they
don't
give you a
count.
hot dog, and you're like, ugh.
No, those don't count.
Yeah.
Can I tell you what's underrated at Pink's too? And if you haven't had a good one in a long time, it reminds you how delicious they are. These onion rings. When you have
I
good,
love onion rings.
bro, these are gonna be the best onion rings you've ever had in your life. I'm gonna get you a Mario Lopez dog
Please do.
with some onion rings, and you're gonna tell me, damn, this dog's incredible, and these are the best onion rings I've ever had.
I cannot wait to go. That's a pretty good meal. That's a damn good. By
I'm
the way,
telling
now,
you.
do you think at Dodger games, Dodger dogs will now be $40? Someone's got to pay for the Japanese guy.
I'm telling you, well, guys, Japanese guys.
Yeah.
Remember they got a couple of them. Well, I'll tell you when I go, because I'll still be going.
Hey, you almost got you almost drowned for those Dodger tickets. You
Yeah,
enjoy
I'm
yourself.
literally out there right there. But what else do I need to host to get those tickets there?
All right, well, that's it for this week's edition of the 3 Knockdown Rule. We just want to let you know, if you want to sponsor our show, please email us at info@boxbid.io. Once again, that's info@boxbid.io. On behalf of Mario Lopez, Smokin' Tim Frazier, and Tino on the edit. Till the next round, goodbye, everybody.